what's the difference between standing up for yourself and being defensive? Well, standing up for yourself has to do with your values and what your convictions are. Being defensive is how you take feedback. Let's talk about both. Standing up for yourself might take the form of when somebody does something you don't like, they cross a boundary and you tell them not to cross the boundary. Or it could be where somebody's trying to convince you of their point of view and you say, no, that's not my point of view, and you stick to your guns and you hold your position. That's standing up for yourself. In other words, you're willing to openly disagree with people. Being defensive has to do with taking feedback from people. Usually when you take negative feedback personally, you might feel the urge to defend yourself. That's being defensive. A better position might be is to just to let the other person talk, and then you can decide later whether that feedback's valuable to you or not. Getting defensive is basically you're trying to argue with the point of view of that person, to argue with that feedback directly, so the other person thinks that you're good enough that you're okay. In other words, if somebody's giving you negative feedback, if you get defensive and argue, you're trying to win the argument so that person suddenly changes their mind and says that you're good enough. Not really a winning proposition. You're not necessarily going to convince somebody to withdraw or overturn their feedback. So again, best strategy is to not be defensive. Tell them you hear what they're saying, and you can decide whether what they're saying is worth taking personally or not. So that's the difference between standing your ground and being defensive. See you next time.